You can read. You can read, you can read, you can read, you can read. Yes, indeed, you can read, you can read. You can read, you can read, you'll succeed. You can read, take the lead. You can read, you can read. You can read. You can read. You can read. You can read, you can read, you can read, you can read. Yes, indeed, you can read, you can read. You can read, you can read, you'll succeed. You can read, take the lead. You can read, you can read.
Of course you can read. It's easy and fun. Like playing games. It's one of the things you do to enjoy yourself. Here's some other things you might do. Rounders. Swimming. Fishing too. Roller skating. Basketball. Football. Surfing. Whoops, don't fall. Sometimes it's fun to go to town. To watch a movie or see a clown. A picnic is a lot of fun. And sports days when you run and run. Dad sometimes cooks the barbecue and cooks the steaks for Mum and you. And when there's a show you all want to see, you gather round and watch TV. You know all these words because you can read. Rounders. Swimming. Basketball. Fishing. Surfing. Clown. Picnic. Barbecue.
You can read, you can read, you can read, you can read. Yes, indeed, you can read, you can read. You can read, you can read, you'll succeed. You can read, take the lead. You can read, you can read.
What are these children doing? How do you know it's rounders? Where do we go in? Let's see a show. Where's the word that tells you this is a circus? What are these children doing? Where's the word that tells you this is a swimming pool? Can we have a picnic here? No. How do you know? Can Toby come to the beach? No. How do you know? But he can come fishing. Uh-oh. What does the sign say? No fishing. Perhaps we better play rounders today.
You can read, you can read, you can read, you can read. Yes, indeed, you can read, you can read. You can read, you can read, you'll succeed. You can read, take the lead. You can read, you can read.
Here's some words for you to read. We can play rounders or basketball. Go swimming or skating. Go surfing or fishing. Go to the movies or the circus. Have a picnic or a barbecue. See how well you can read? What's this? Football. And what are these children playing? Marbles. And what are these children doing? Racing. What other things go racing? Cars.
You can read, you can read, you can read, you can read. Yes, indeed, you can read, you can read. You can read, you can read, you'll succeed. You can read, take the lead. You can read, you can read. You can read, you can read, you can read, you can read. Yes, indeed, you can read, you can read. You can read, you can read, you'll succeed. You can read, take the lead. You can read, you can read. Take the lead, you can read, you can read. You can read.
One of the games I like best is rounders. It's fun at the park with all your friends. Let's have a story about rounders. Strike one. Strike two. A hit. First base. Second base. Third base. Home run. Let's do that again. Strike 1. Strike 2. A hit. First base. Second base. Third base. Home run. Let's read it again. You say the words first this time. Strike 1. Strike 2. Hit. First base. Second base. Third base. Home run.
See how well you read that story. Now let's have a song about something else that's fun to do. Going to the circus.
Here we are at the circus. It's a very nice place to be. I love to come to the circus. There's so many things to see. We always go to see the show when the circus comes to town. And look who's here with a polka dot bow, my favorite, the clown. A circus clown wears funny clothes. His shoes are far too long. With a funny face and a big red nose, everything he does goes wrong. Now he plays with the lions and climbs up on a chair. But they start to roar and he falls on the floor and bumps into a dancing bear. The bears all dance to the music played by an old-time band. They go round and round in the sawdust ring of the circus wonderland. Here we are at the circus. It's a very nice place to be. I love to come to the circus. There's so many things to see. Now we see the strong man lifting up the clown, and hanging by her knees on the flying trapeze is a lady upside down. It's time to go back home now. I wish that we could stay. So we wave goodbye to our friends and try to see you another day. Goodbye, we'll see you another day. I love the circus.
Time for some more reading. I bet you like having a barbecue. You can help. What will we have? The chicken. The steak. The salad. The corn. The potatoes. The plates. Dad lights the fire. Dad cooks the steak. Don't forget the chicken. Mum makes a salad. We help her make it. Here's the potatoes. Here's the corn. We take the plates to the table. We eat it all up. You can read all these words. Chicken. Steak. Salad. Corn. Potatoes. Plates. Yum, yum. Now, let's write our story about the barbecue. The chicken. The steak. The salad. corn, the potatoes, the plates. Yum, yum.
That's a good story, but we could write another one about when the barbecue goes wrong. Sometimes Dad burns the steak. Dad lights the fire. Dad cooks the steak. Dad cooks the chicken. Mum makes the salad. We bring the plates. Dad burns the steak. Yuck. See what fun you have writing a story? Here's another fun story. An old story about the Golden Goose. Once upon a time, there lived a woodcutter who had 2 sons. When the woodcutter grew too old to chop the wood, the eldest son said, "I will go to the forest and chop wood today." So the woodcutter packed him a tasty lunch, and away he went. At lunchtime, he sat down to enjoy his meal. Suddenly, a strange little man appeared and said, "May I share your meal?" But the boy was selfish, and he replied roughly, "Ha! Go away. I want it myself." But the little old man disappeared, and the young woodcutter finished his meal and went back to work. But as soon as he started chopping, his axe slipped and cut his foot. He had to limp home and could not go to work the next day. So there was only the younger son, Hans, who was fit to work in the forest. So he said,
I will go to the forest and chop wood today.
Hans' brother laughed and jeered at him, saying he was not strong enough nor clever enough to work. But Hans was determined. So his father, who did not like him as much as he did his older son, packed him a lunch of stale bread and old cheese, and off he went. Hans worked hard all morning. At lunchtime, when he sat down to eat, the strange little man appeared and said, "May I share your lunch?" And Hans, who was kind-hearted and generous, explained that it was a poor meal, and there was little of it, but
I will be pleased to share it with you, sir.
So they sat down together, and when Hans opened his humble lunch, he found it had turned into a marvellous feast. When they had finished, the old man thanked Hans for his kindness and said, "Now for your reward." And with that he pointed to an old tree nearby and said, "Chop down that tree and take what you find, huh?" Then the old man disappeared as quickly as he had arrived. Hans quickly chopped down the old tree and found it was hollow inside. Nesting in the bottom was a beautiful golden goose. Hans was very excited, but he knew he could not go home with the goose because his brother would say he was stupid and take it away from him. So he picked up the goose, tucked it under his arm, and said,
I will take the goose and seek my fortune.
That night, Hans arrived at an inn and decided to rest until morning. The landlord and his 3 daughters saw the golden goose and wanted to take it from Hans, but he kept it close beside him all night. The next day, he paid the landlord with 1 golden feather before setting out. But the oldest daughter could not resist trying to get a golden feather for herself. As Hans walked past, she snatched at the tail of the goose. As she touched it, she stuck fast and could not let go.
Help, help, I'm stuck!
But Hans strode on, saying,
I can't stop now. I have a long way to go.
The girl's cries brought her 2 sisters running. They rushed up to try to pull her away. But as soon as they touched her, they too stuck fast and had to hop and skip after Hans and his golden goose, shouting,
Help, help, we're stuck!
But Hans strode on, saying,
I can't stop now. I have a long way to go.
So on they all stumbled until they met the village policeman. He rushed up, crying, Let go of those people at once! As he pulled at the arm of the girl, he too was stuck fast and had to hop along behind, crying, Help, help, I'm stuck! But Hans strode on, saying,
I can't stop now. I have a long way to go.
So along they stumbled, shouting and hopping, until a farmer working in the fields heard their cries and rushed up to help, calling, Let go of those people at once! But as he tugged at the policeman's jacket, he too got stuck fast and had to hop along behind, shouting, Help, help, I'm stuck! But Hans strode on, saying,
I can't stop now. I have a long way to go.
So on they went until they met the farmer's wife. She was very alarmed to see her husband stuck in the line of people, and cried,
Let go of my husband!
and she rushed up and tugged at her husband's sleeve. But of course she got stuck too, and had to hop along behind, crying,
Help, help, I'm stuck!
but Hans just strode on, saying,
I can't stop now. I have a long way to go.
and so Hans and his golden goose and the 6 hopping, shouting people arrived in the great city. Hans knew the king's daughter was the gloomiest princess in the world. She had never been known to smile, let alone laugh. The king was so worried he had offered a reward to the first young man who could make her laugh. Hans believed he could make the princess laugh because people had been laughing at him for as long as he could remember.
I'm sure she'll laugh at me now.
And Hans was right. As he crossed the square in front of the palace with his 6 hopping, shouting followers, the princess came to the balcony to see what all the fuss was about. And when she saw the line of people hopping and skipping across the square, she began to laugh. And she laughed and laughed and laughed. Hans was not at all surprised.
I knew she would laugh at me.
The king was overjoyed, and straight away declared that this young man could marry his daughter. So Hans and his golden goose and his raggle-tag band of hopping and shouting followers crowded into the palace to meet the king and the princess. And when Hans put the golden goose on the floor to take the princess's hand, the spell was broken, and the landlord's daughters, the policeman, the farmer, and the farmer's wife were freed. They returned to their homes, and Hans married the princess and received his reward, which was enough for him, the princess, and the golden goose to live on for the rest of their lives. Now, let's have a story we can all join in. Once upon a time, there was a haunted house. And in that haunted house, there was a witch, a ghost, a goblin, a monster, an owl, and they danced on the lawn every moonlit night and made a terrible din. Do you think they would make noises like that? You join in this time and help me make the sounds. Here we go. A witch, a ghost, a goblin, a monster, an owl. Let's read the whole story again. Once upon a time, there was a haunted house. And in that haunted house, there was a witch, a ghost, a goblin, a monster, an owl, and they danced on the lawn every moonlit night and made a terrible din.
They were good noises. Let's sing now. I bet you know these nursery rhymes.
Simple Simon met a pieman going to the fair. Said Simple Simon to the pieman, let me taste your ware. Said the pieman to Simple Simon, show me first your penny. Said Simon sadly to the pieman, but I don't have any. Simple Simon met a pieman going to the fair. Said Simple Simon to the pieman, let me taste your ware. Said the pieman to Simple Simon, show me first your penny. Said Simon sadly to the pieman, but I don't have any.
Here's another one.
Yankee Doodle came to town riding on his pony. Stuck a feather in his hat and called it macaroni. Yankee Doodle Doodle Dee, Yankee Doodle
I knew you could read it.
Remember the story about the rounders game we read before? Here's some more pictures of a rounders game. You watch and think about what is happening, and then we'll see if we can write the words that go with each picture. Okay, now let's write the words for what is happening. Ball. Foul. Strike. Run. Hit. Home run. See how the pictures help you read the words? Let's read our story again. Ball. Foul. Strike. Run. Hit. Home run. Let's read that once more. Ball. Foul. Strike. Run. Hit. Home run. What a great game.
Here's another game we all like to play. We call it dressing up. A teacher. A doctor.
A ghost.
A witch. A monster. Daddy. Mummy. Wasn't that fun? Let's read it again. A teacher. A doctor.
A ghost.
A witch. A monster. Daddy. Mummy. That was great. You read the words first this time. A teacher. A doctor. A ghost. A witch. A monster. Daddy. Mummy. See, you can read.
You can read, you can read, you can read, you can read. Yes, indeed, you can read, you can read. You can read, you can read, you'll succeed. You can read, take the lead. You can read, you can read. Take the lead, you can read, you can read. You can read. You can read, you can read, you can read, you can read. Yes, indeed, you can read, you can read. You can read, you can read, you'll succeed. You can read, take the lead. You can read, you can read.
There are buses and aeroplanes, balloons, trains and boats in the next You Can Read. We'll be looking at transport and seeing how everyone gets from where they are to where they want to go. There's a visit to the airport to meet Grandma. And a very funny story about Farmer Giles' goats.
You can read, you can read, you can read, you can read. Yes, indeed, you can read, you can read. You can read, you can read, you'll succeed. You can read, take the lead. You can read, you can read.
So if you want to watch the storm and see what happens when Little Miss Muffet eats her curzon whey, join us in the next You Can Read.
You can read, you can read, you'll succeed. You can read, take the lead. You can read, you can read. Take the lead, you can read, you can read. You